Okay, welcome back. I hope you all got your definitions done. And I want you to take that definitions page out and we're going to fill in this bottom section. I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. And then we're going to use this sheet that I put on our page. It's called Name That Circle Part. I'm going to do some with you and you're going to do some on your own. So the first thing I want you to do is just get out the definition sheet. If you're using a piece of paper, then I want you to just write these down. We're going to put area, circumference, and arc length. And I know this worksheet for some reason really ended up not, the word is weird. Area is A-R-E-A. Circumference. And then the last one is arc length. I don't know why, when I made the copies of one of them, it didn't come out all funky like this, but then this one did, but it's not a big deal. It's just that we're going to do area, circumference, and arc length. This is going to be a sheet that you're going to be referencing. So don't get rid of this sheet. Keep this sheet, because today we're going to go over the parts of the circle. You're going to name different parts of the circle, and then we're going to move on to area, circumference, and arc length. And this is a review. Area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Circumference is equal to 2 pi times the radius. And then this one, the new one, we call it L for length. The arc length is equal to the part of the circle, or the degrees of the circle that you're using, over 360, because 360 is the whole circle, and then we multiply it by the circumference. So I'm going to go over this one. I'm going to go over that one. Let's take a look here. Here's our circle. All right. Let's go over finding the area, finding the circumference, and finding the arc length. So draw a circle on your sheet. Draw a circle on your piece of paper right there. Now, I'm going to label some things on here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say this right here, my radius, I'm going to say it's 10. Doesn't matter if I call it centimeters, inches, whatever. I'm going to say it's 10. Then I'm going to say this little section right here, this little part right here, this wedge, like a wedge of pi, I'm going to say that this little wedge of pi is 45 degrees. Looks about 45 degrees, right? Because that's about 90. So this little wedge of a pi is 45 degrees. So go ahead and mark that on your circle right now. This little wedge, 45 degrees. Radius, 10. Now, what's interesting about a circle, if this is 45 degrees, and if this is a central angle, meaning it's on its vertex is the center of the circle, that means that this is also 45 degrees. So arc length is equal when it's a central angle. So let's take a look here. Well, we have three things that we talked about. Area is pi times the radius squared. Circumference, 2 pi r. And then the arc length is, well, the part of the circle that I have, how many degrees over the whole circle, which is 360, times the circumference. So let's see, we're going to find all of these. And you'll see just how easy they are. When we're working on the circle unit, 99.9% of the time we're going to tell you to leave it in terms of pi. So we're not going to want you to put it into your calculator and push the double arrow button. I want you to leave it in terms of pi. So let's take a look at this first one. Pi times the radius squared. This is the radius from the center to the edge, so that's 10. So the area is going to be equal to pi 10 squared. What does 10 squared mean? Well, it means 10 times 10. So 10 times 10 is 100, so this is 100 pi. Just leave it like that. Circumference is equal to 2 pi times the radius. Again, my radius is 10. So this is going to be 2 pi times 10. And 2 times 10 is 20, so the circumference here is 20 pi. This arc length, or L, that like we've called, right here they name it L for arc length. I need what degree of the arc do I have over the whole circle? So this is like, what part of the circle am I talking about? And multiply it by the circumference. Well, this right here, let's take a look at that. Let me get my highlighter. Hold on here. This right here, that's in degrees, right? Well, that's this. That's the degree portion of the circle that I'm using right now is 45 degrees of the circle. So I'm using that. And then they said I multiply it by the circumference. Well, I've already calculated the circumference, and it's right there, 2 pi r, so 2 pi times 10, 20 pi. So I have everything I need to put into this formula because I have the degrees here. X degrees is equal to 45, right? And there's my circumference. So the arc length is equal to, well, 45 out of a total in a circle, which is 360, times the circumference, which is 20 pi. Now, this would be a lot easier to put into my calculator if I could just throw this C right here, wouldn't it? And that's okay, I can do that because I can multiply X degrees times C is just X degrees times C. So let's change this a little bit to make it easier. X times the circumference divided by 360. That makes it a little bit simpler. Let's put that here so we can put it in our calculator. This is the same as saying 20 pi times 45 all over 360. So let's put that in our calculator. Now, if you don't have the calculator that I had suggested that you get in the beginning of the year, you can use any other calculator. You can use the calculator on your phone. It might not leave it in terms of pi. So for the majority of the work that we're going to do, I will push the double arrow button and show you what you get. So N over D button, 20 pi times 45. 20, there's the pi button, times 45 in the numerator, all over 360 degrees. So that's like, I have this part of the circumference divided by 360, bam, 5 pi over 2. Now that's going to be the answer I want to leave it in. The arc length is 5 pi over 2, but if your calculator doesn't leave it in terms of pi, then your answer is going to be 7.8. If I round it to the nearest tenth, it would be 7.9. Very close to 7.9. So, whoopsie, keep this sheet, keep it out right now because we're going to look at these definitions as we start naming parts of the circle. So, let's move on to this sheet. I'm going to do 1 through 10 with you, and you're going to do 11 through 20 on your own and submit that for a grade. So let's take a look at this. They want me to name these parts of the circle. Well, I have all of these definitions, right? I have all of these definitions. So if I'm not sure, I'm going to refer back to my definitions. Let's take a look at this first one. It says, well, when I look at this, what's interesting is I see some different symbols. Let me back this up a little bit. Well, not that way. Come on. Let me do that. So, this is a straight line. So that means that's got to be either a segment, it could be a radius, it could be a diameter, it could be a tangent line, but it's not going to be an arc, and it's not going to be an angle. This is an angle, right? NQR. This right here, I've got an arc symbol, and I've got 3 letters inside the arc symbol, so that means that must be a major arc. How do I know that? It's in my definitions. It's in my definitions right here. Major arc is an arc with a measure greater than 180, and we use 3 letters to name it. So this major arc would be ACB. That means I start at A, I gotta travel past C, and end at B. So those are just some of the things that you need to be aware of. Those are some of the symbols you're going to see. And this right here is just a point. The only points that I can name are points on the outside of a circle or the center of the circle. So let's take a look here. The first one, I have to find LQ. And if you see here, I've already highlighted it. And LQ is, I haven't seen anything that looks like that, but just extend it out. If you want to, just extend it out so you can see this is a tangent. This line right here is hitting that circle in exactly one place, so that's a tangent. So I'm just going to write you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to say, and you can do this too, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Now that's going to be helpful because when I have you finish this with an assessment on Schoology, all you have to do is type in the letter, not the full word. Makes it a little bit easier. So LQ I've decided is a tangent. I'm going to look over here. Tangent, I gave the letter F, and I'm going to write the word tangent. You don't have to if you don't want to. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is WY. I know it's a straight line. WY. WY is right here. Well, that's not a radius. It's not a radius because it's not at the center. So what is that going to be? I'm going to look here. I know it's not circular. Well, looks like that's a chord. That's a chord. It's a segment with endpoints on the circle. So that's chord. And chord here is C. And I'm also going to write out chord, just so you guys can see that. What am I doing? Wrong place. WY is a chord. Let's take a look at this. This right here is an angle. An angle. When I look over here, I got two things that are angles. Central angle or inscribed angle. So let me look at my sheet here. Central angle. A central angle has its vertex on the center. An inscribed angle has its vertex and all of its points on the outside of the circle. So it's either going to look like this little Pac-Man dude, or it's going to look like this. Let's take a look. I've got to find NQR. So the first thing I have to do is find N, and then Q, and then R. Well, I'm definitely not on the center of the circle. NQR cannot be a central angle. NQR is, let me do it like this. You know I love my highlighters. NQR, it's not a central angle, so it's got to be the inscribed angle. That's L. Inscribed angle. Inscribed angle. You don't have to write those down. You can just write C, L, F, whatever you want to write. X. Center of the circle, right? Center. Let's take a look here. This has to be a major arc, but I have to be careful because a semicircle and a major arc both use 3 letters. So I have to check, is it half the circle or is it more than half? Let's take a look here. Where is R, W, U? R, W, I gotta start at R, I gotta go past W, and I gotta end at U, right? R, W, U. Start at R, pass through W, end at U. Well, that's definitely not half of a circle. So that right there is a semicircle. So that right there is a major arc. So that's I. If it was half the circle, it would be a semicircle. It's a major arc. Let's take a look at, well, that's got a little line there, ST. S-T-I-R. Got spirit? Okay, let's take a look here. Boy, ST. But they make it any more difficult to find? There we go. There's ST. ST. Oh, well, ST is hitting both those circles at just one point, so that has to be a tangent, right? That's a tangent, and that's a tangent. Tangent is F. And it can repeat itself more than once in this, on this worksheet. Why am I doing that? Keep going to the wrong side. ST is a tangent. Let's go over here to PN. PN is a line. It's a line segment. PN, this part right here. I'm sure everybody knows what that is. From the center to the circumference is a radius. So B is radius. Let's see if I can get this next one right. Well, this is going to be an angle. So it's either going to be a central angle or an inscribed angle. So U, X, Y. Well, I know that the X is the center of the circle. So I'm going to this circle. U, X, Y. Right there. It has to be a central angle because its vertex is the middle of the circle. So this right here, central angle. Okay. I'm going to do two more and then you guys can do the rest and you're going to turn those answers in Schoology. Well, that's got to be a minor arc. How do I know that? Because a minor arc is the only type of arc that uses two variables or two letters. So let's find it. MQ. Where are you, MQ? There's M, there's Q, right here. MQ. That's a minor arc. Minor arc is H. And then the last one, QN. QN. Oh, we'll take a look here. QN is going all the way from this side of the circle through the center and all the way to the other side of the circle. So QN is a diameter. That's kind of cool. Diameter started with a D. That was just a coincidence. Diameter. So the rest are up to you guys. Definitely use context clues. If it shows it's an arc, you know, you only have a few to choose from. You know what a radius is, you know what a diameter is. So the rest of this is up to you. And you are going to, I'm going to have this on Schoology. I'm going to have blanks for 11 through 20 in an assessment. You're just going to put in these letters. You're not going to type in the whole word. You're just going to type in the letters. So that's it. I'm going to be putting lessons on for you guys because you're in second hour, first through third hour is getting lessons Mondays and Wednesdays, about an hour's worth of work, and for both days. So you're only going to have 2 hours worth of work, and most of it is you watching me on a video. So that's not going to be real difficult. We're going to start counting the work that's being sent in. So just do your best. I know you all will, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.